Thanks for watching Numbskull News. And today, let's talk about Memphis. All of a sudden, the entire sporting world is talking Memphis. And there's a reason for that. As you can see, I got this off of 365 Sports, and look, most of your major realignment people out there, Dennis Dodd, Heather Dinage, all these people, were tweeting just like a son of a bitch. But this was huge. This came from Ross Dillinger on his Twitter. Memphis proposal is described as no risk concept. The school would, one, take zero distribution for 5 years. Add in sponsorships, as much as $3 million annually to each Big 12 school's coffers. And number 3, subject itself to expulsion after 2030 if the Big 12 deems it not adding value. That's what you call betting on yourself. But was it a mistake? Was it a mistake by the Big 12? Look, I am not some sycophant for the Big 12. I am a Big 12 fan. I push for the Big 12. I pull for the Big 12. It is what it is. I have my Big 12 biases, but when it comes to things like the CFP, I have been very vocal that Brett Yormark and the rest of the Big 12 leadership are screwing up with 5+11. All right, let's break it down. Let's break down what everyone has been talking about, right? The Big 12 have rebuffed that offer. Essentially, everything adds up to about $250 million over that 5 years. Sponsorships from FedEx, Lowe's, and whatever. Real, tangible money at a time when the Big 12 needs it. Because there's some Big 12 schools out there bitching about revenue sharing and not having enough money. My fear with them saying, nah, we're good, because this, as far as I know, this didn't get to the realm of talking to ESPN and talking to Fox. This was just a flat out no from the leadership of the Big 12. No vote, no nothing else. And the president, I'm not sure if it's the president or the AD from Memphis, one or the other, they've been working on this for over a year, visiting a lot of campuses of the Big 12, talking to presidents, talking to everybody who would listen, putting together a real substantial package. Again, I've waited on making this video. I would have dropped it last night or something like that, but I really had to ask myself, was this a mistake by the Big 12, or is it okay? There's some speculation that it's a no for now, but maybe down the road. I was just interested when Ross Dillinger put out that part of this was no risk to the Big 12. This wasn't you add in Memphis forever. If they don't exceed expectations, then you can nut cut them later. So, to answer the question, yes, this was a mistake by the Big 12. Look, the Big 12 has had to do, I guess you would say, unorthodox shit to get to where they are. Maneuver out the ass. And now that we are at 16, it's like we're resting on our laurels. It's kind of like that prevent defense shit that we all hate when we see our team who's got a lead in the fourth quarter start playing prevent defense. I don't like that much. That's what the 5-11 is. That's what this is. It's prevent defense. Well, let's just wait on what we can get out of the ACC. Why don't we forward think a little bit? The ACC is going to lose members. Some of those members are going to come to the Big 12. They're going to need to backfill, and one of the most prominent, and I would say the biggest targets of the ACC at that point will be Memphis. It doesn't make me feel bad taking them before they can get them. And look, I've always liked Memphis. Always did. I did not, look, I didn't like him above UCF. I didn't like him above Cincinnati. I didn't like him above Houston. And I sure as hell didn't like him above BYU. Let's just put it there like that. And as of right now, if you polled most people, who in the G6 would you want to see come into the Big 12? Most people will say Oregon State and Washington State. I don't say that. And all apologies to them. I don't hate them or nothing like that. But they are way the hell up in the northwest of this country. You know, look, I'm speaking from someone in DFW, in the middle of the country. But that is jaunting. That is insanity getting up there. So I'm kind of cool on them. Would Memphis, if we went out and added a G6, is Memphis my first target? No. I kind of like Boise State more. I kind of like UConn more, even though it's an independent. It's not really, whatever. But I like them more. But Memphis is probably right after those two for me. I put them ahead of Oregon State and Washington State. You can scream at me. You can tell me how dumb that is. That's how I feel about it. Because here's a program willing to push their chips all in. Take no money for 5 years. Fully fund their athletic department, their rev share. Fully fund it. They're building new facilities. And let me talk to you about the state of Tennessee. Right now, the 3 fastest growing states in America is Texas, Florida, and get ready for this, South Carolina. Now, if you just look at the rest of that top 10 list, it won't be long before you hit North Carolina. And it won't be long before you hit Idaho. And it sure as hell ain't long before you hit Tennessee. Yet another of the fastest growing states in this country. Not just in population, but in economic growth as well. Tennessee is popping. Memphis, Nashville, those big epicenters, they are popping like a son of a bitch. So when you have a Big 12 president, who we don't know the name of, said, look, we already vetted them a few years ago. What's changed? Well, as far as Tennessee being that emerging market, Memphis included, that's something that's changed. FedEx, that has come out and really launched their support behind Memphis, that's something else that has changed. So yeah, things have changed. Values have changed when it comes to Memphis. What they have to offer has changed. So, look, does that mean Memphis, if I think the Big 12 should do this? Yeah, I do think the Big 12 should do this. Does that mean Memphis is in the Big 12 past 2030? No, it doesn't. Because they're going to have to continue to build. They have to show the value. There has to be value there for our media partners in the future. And it's been said over and over again that you need, 12 of the 16 teams to vote yes, a supermajority. There's a reason that's being reported. Is because some schools were on board, others were not. And the Big 12 is not going to add anybody unless all 16 members are cool with it. Maybe they would add somebody if you had 1, maybe 2 little peckers not wanting to go along. But for the most part, they want everybody on board. That's how the Big 12 works. So some people were on board with Memphis in this deal. They were willing to talk about it, even have a vote with it. Others said, nah, we don't need any of that. We don't even need to talk about it. That's what pisses me off. Because you make a school like Memphis look like crap. It makes it look like you ain't taking them seriously. Like this isn't a serious program with serious resources. And they are. There's a serious program with serious resources in a serious emerging market. I think it's a missed opportunity, kids. And it's making me feel a little shaky about the Big 12. I'm not going to lie. It just does. Because this is the kind of attitude the Pac 12 had. This is the kind of attitude we hear from certain ACC fans out there. Oh, this school would never go there. This school would never do this. Blah, 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 blah. Like you freaking know anything. But I just don't want our leadership of the Big 12 to start getting that big head, acting like there's something more than they are. Like I said, I could be wrong about this. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe, you have Big 12 schools talking to ACC schools, talking about Smash Capital. Do I think they're going to create a new conference? No, I don't. Could there possibly be some kind of merger in the near future? Maybe. I know that's been poo-pooed a lot, but no one freaking knows, so I can speculate if I want. All right? No one can say, absolutely, it's not going to happen, because you don't freaking know. You don't have no crystal ball, jackhole. So that's part of my that could happen. It absolutely could. So maybe they're like, well, there's other things we're kind of working on under the radar. So at this time, we're going to have to pass. I'm hoping it's something like that. I really am. I'm hoping there's some big plans ahead where can't make this move right now, but I hope maybe down the road they'll reconsider it. And maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe this isn't a flat out hell no, never happen. Maybe this is, hey, for right now, we're going to have to say no. But also, I want you to think about something. They weren't trying to give $250 million to the ACC, were they? Ooh, I wonder why that is. Isn't the ACC a bigger, grander, more prestigious conference than the Big 12? It's because everyone knows that thing's going to go down. It's going to go in the toilet. When their top 4 schools leave, half or more than half their viewership is going to be gone. So, why join that? Why join that? What does Memphis do from here? I've heard that asked. Well, if I'm them, I mean, look, you've already made the American, not the AAC, just the AC, the American, look like crap here with this coming out at the same time that name change occurred. I would probably call the Pac. That's what I would do. Call the Pac. Make the best deal you can. I wouldn't give them no 250, but I would offer my services. It's a better place to rest right now. And look, nothing against the American. I like the American. It's a fun conference. But they lost a lot of big brands. Memphis is trying to be a mover and a shaker. They need to be. Get into the Pac. That's what I say you do. Get in there. Get with Boise State. Get with Oregon State and Washington State and all those guys. San Diego State. All the other states. Get in there. Be the outlier. The one school that's not a state. And make a push there. Kick ass in basketball like you've done before. Keep making those inroads in football. That's what I would suggest. And I'm hoping this isn't the end of Memphis trying to get into the Big 12. Maybe something can be worked out one day. Maybe it can. Look, I like Memphis. I think they got a lot to offer. All these people that kind of brush them aside, who the hell are you to brush anyone aside? Like, I love this conference, but I'm not interested in prestige. I'm not interested in any. I'm interested in teams with value. I'm interested in teams with upside. That's what I'm looking for. And I think Memphis has incredible upside. That's all I'm saying. You know, I'm sure you're going to let me know how wrong I am in this whole thing. I'm sorry if I get a little worried when I think there's a little too much arrogance in some of the people here in the Big 12 in the leadership. And that's just what it smelled like to me. Okay? I didn't like that. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap, and I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.